Hello and welcome to our first installation for this particular course in Mike and Jeff's Technology Lab. We divide our tutorials up into courses, subjects, as our legend explains. If you haven't checked that out yet, it's in the Enhanced Learning site. On FOL, that's where we describe our levels, our duration size, and how we break up our courses so that you understand at the beginning of each video what we're going to be showing you. And I'll always try and introduce that with the first video in each section like this one is. We haven't done any Captivate videos yet, so this one is going to be duration size large. It'll be a bit longer to really get you comfortable with and started using the program. If you've already downloaded it, you may have opened it up and used it a little bit at this point, but I'm guessing some of you haven't even gotten it yet, and those of you that have maybe haven't even opened it. So we're going to start right from the beginning to the point where I'm showing you actually how to open the program and something you might run into while you're opening it. The main thing we're going to cover here, though, is recording a simple screen capture video with captions included. Captivate has these really cool features, one of which has the program follow your mouse wherever it goes in a window and actually precede the mouse click then with the produced version of the video with a little caption box that tells the user who's watching it where you're about to go. And you're going to see that demonstrated in this video now. That isn't occurring right now at the moment because I'm using a different recording program so that I can start and stop Captivate inside of it. If I started and stopped Captivate inside of a Captivate video, it might get a little tricky. I'm going to be doing that on shorter ones, but for this long one I didn't want to take any chances. So you'll see what I mean once I get in there, but this is being recorded with another software that you don't have to worry about. We're going to be using Captivate, and I'm going to show you how easy it is. So level beginner, again, those are described in FOL in the Enhanced Learning site, where in our section where we explain how our module works. And then the demo includes starting Adobe Captivate CS5, just getting the program open and going, calibrating the mic, setting up options for captions, and we're not going to change them around in this video, but I'm going to show you where you can do that. Ensuring that you're able to get full video in case you're going to be recording video in video. You have to make sure your settings are set for that. And a little bit of extra as we go through the settings before we start recording. And then there's always going to be some tips from the pros in our videos. Remember to wear headphones when you're recording audio in a screen capture video, anything with your computer, because what can happen if you've forgotten to turn the volume off on your machine, you can actually run into a situation where the volume jumps back out of the computer so loudly that it actually feeds back through the microphone, or creates what's called a clip where it becomes too loud. And if you maybe have gotten your hands on one of those new headsets where the mic is built in with the headphones, that's going to make this whole process a bit easier and more user-friendly for you. Depending on when you're watching this video, those should be in soon if they aren't already in. And you would talk to Lisa about getting one of those. So without further ado, let's get down to the nitty-gritty here. We're going to navigate to our desktop and find Captivate. Some of you may not have created a desktop icon for it, which means you're going to need to understand where it's sitting in the program menu. So let's get out of PowerPoint here. I've set up a desktop icon for mine. Okay, when I installed it, I asked it to put it on a desktop. Now, in case you haven't, more than likely you haven't opened it a bunch, so it's not going to be in your recently opened programs that are sitting here below the line. I also have mine in my start menu. I'm going to show you how to do that while we're doing this too. But where it's going to be is programs. Okay, you'd think it'd be in a folder with the title Adobe somewhere in the folder name, but it's not, because it's not part of the Creative Suite. It's not part of the Master Collection. Okay, this is actually a standalone product from Adobe that's part of very few suites. So when you install a product like that, you won't find it usually in any folders. It will be listed alphabetically with the programs that aren't in folders up above all the folders. So there it is right there, Adobe Captivate, along with the quiz analyzer and the reviewer. Nothing we're going to get into today in this video, but stuff we will look at in later portions of this course for Adobe Captivate. Okay, so we can click from here, or because I've already set it up in the desktop, I can click here or here. I'm sure all of you are comfortable with opening a program. All right, now the way I got it in here, because a lot of people don't like to have tons of stuff on their desktop, which is actually really good for recording if you don't have a lot of stuff on your desktop. These are all the programs I open often. This is called the Start menu, okay, and these will always be here. These are just the ones I've opened recently. These will always be here no matter what. So I use Photoshop and Dreamweaver constantly in my web design course. I use the CMAP program with students in other courses. I use the snipping tool quite a bit. We're going to have a video on that coming up. But these are all here because I've told them to be there. if you want any program to show up there, especially like Captivate, which is kind of, it's not really obvious where it's going to be. Usually they don't sit up here like this outside of a folder, but this one does. You right click on it and you go pin to start menu. Now this reads unpin from start menu because I already have it on there. So if I went to a program that's not on the start menu yet, that one should allow me to do it. Apparently I can't pin the start menu, the Windows update there. Like Safari, okay? Pin to start menu right there. And you can pin to the taskbar and it'll come up down in here. Or you could send to desktop and create shortcuts. So just really quick crash course on making sure you're able to quickly navigate to and open up Captivate. So I do have mine on my desktop. I'm just going to grab it from there and open it up. I haven't opened it up on my computer since I've restarted it, so it does take a minute, like maybe 30 seconds. It's a rather large program, and it does require and draw upon a large amount of resources in your machine, and that's why this message comes up. So I'm an administrator on my computer. This message, I'm not going to read it to you verbatim here, but this is basically saying, hey, you should make sure you run Adobe Captivate with admin rights, because if you don't, it's possible you might not have access to everything you need access to, and so on. So this message is not coming up on everybody's computer as far as I can tell, but some of you are getting it, and I think it's based on the way IT has set up our machines for us. I'm definitely an administrator, but for some reason I always get the message. So I just click OK, and I usually just go with it. Okay, I haven't run into any issues where I feel like I'm not getting the same tools that I would be getting if I was running it as an administrator. Now, just in case I feel a little bit uncomfortable with that, all you do, if you're one of the people that's been getting this message, and it's very, very simple. I'm going to close it and reopen it. So I've closed Captivate back up. And this is from anywhere. It doesn't just have to be from the desktop. You can see here, run as administrator. I can go here into the start menu where I have it pinned and run as administrator from the start menu. And when I run as administrator, it'll ask me, are you an, yeah, darn right, I'm an administrator. And then, of course, I still get the message, but I know I've run it as an administrator, so I feel a little more comfortable with that. So here's Captivate, Adobe Captivate. It looks a lot like other Adobe applications in the sense that we have a welcome screen. Welcome screens are very useful and helpful for Adobe application users. They often lead you to areas and little places. If I've had a lot of files up recently, they would be here. I've actually just removed a bunch of stuff and changed the location, so some of the stuff isn't there that I've been working on. But what I'm going to do today is actually navigate it to from the start menu here. Okay, I could also get to it from the file menu, new, and create like that, but I'm going to go right from here. I like this little start menu welcome screen. It's useful, it's helpful. I think it's always good to have it up. One quick little tip, if you ever do lose it, and this applies to almost any Adobe application where you have a welcome screen like this, if you go into Edit, typically in most Adobe applications you're going to have an option for Preferences, and inside of Preferences you'll have the ability to turn on and off the welcome screen. Somehow, sometimes my students are still claiming to me in Dreamweaver, oh, my welcome screen turned off and then I couldn't do anything. I mean, the welcome screen should not be making or breaking their performance in there. However, it does make things easier sometimes, especially if you get used to using it. So if you ever lose it, Edit Preferences, okay, this would be turned off for some reason. You would turn it back on, and then you'll always have the welcome screen. Okay, so today we're getting Adobe Captivate open, and we're going to create a very basic, short and brief software simulation video on how to create a comment in PowerPoint. And I'm going to do that using the same file I had up at the beginning there. So I'm going to go right to software simulation, and when I do that, it's going to bring the settings right up. Now, everybody that's familiar with screen capture programs is probably going to say, oh, that was easy, cool, record and just start recording. Just slow down. There's a few things I need to show you here, and this is why this first video, and oftentimes the first video component of a course, will be a bit longer than the others. I want to make sure you're comfortable with the settings and the different things you can do in here. And we're not going to go through all of them because we're just sticking to the basics here. Number one, and you can adjust this in here or within the actual settings. If you're going to be doing full motion video, you can quickly click it right here so that you're sure that you'll be getting full motion video inside of your screen capture recording. Okay, now usually when you do that, they don't give you captions inside the full motion video because you're just trying to record a recording. This is what you're doing. Your video and video. So that limits the amount of interactivity you can have, but that most people who would be recording video and video would just be doing it to save the video for something else. They might want to add audio over it, which you can easily do. You can talk over the video. One of our fellow professors actually wants to do that to save specific advertisements that he knows have been recorded and put on YouTube, and then he doesn't want to lose them if the user takes it down, so he can record it using this. There's also a YouTube recorder that he taught me how to use. I'm going to make a quick video for that as well for everybody, but that won't be in this course. That'll be in World Wide Web tips and tricks kind of stuff. So we're going to leave it on automatic because we're not doing video and video. What mic am I using? This is my internal mic. If that was the last mic I used, even though I have my snowball plugged in, sorry, it wouldn't automatically go to that. It will default to the last mic I used. So you need to be careful here what you check. And if you have your mics turned off or something, you might not even notice, but this will say no narration. And I'll show you where to check for that again too when we go into the settings. But I want to use this mic, so I'm going to check and make sure the right mic is picked. And then up here I can decide what I want to record. Right now, I'm thinking I'm just going to record what I do in PowerPoint. So I can actually set this up so I can record just an application. Okay, and I can choose PowerPoint. You also probably noticed that within the application, you can actually set a screen area. Well, whether you're doing an application or not, you can set a screen area and go to custom size, and you can drag it out and you can draw it. And right now I can actually take the PowerPoint window and move it out to the same size as the screen. This is nice that you're able to do this because certain video formats require certain size screens. Or require the screen to be below a certain size, otherwise the resolution turns out it just doesn't work. It doesn't capture what's in the sides. The video recording program I'm using right now will capture everything. You just might have to scroll around to get to see it. So when I do this, I'm actually gonna set it kind of in the middle of the screen here so that it's not so massive, and then hopefully you'll see most of what I do in the Captivate video on the screen. But I could easily just pick full screen too. So you can set it up however you want. It's very user friendly. And I'm going to have a separate video just on screen size and screen resolution. So you can refer to that one if you want to learn more. Now before I hit record, I'm still going to go in here and show you a few things. Now you could have already recorded a video by now, okay? And gone in and done a video and not been dealing with all this stuff. So see, the settings were behind the PowerPoint window there. What I'm going to do though is actually go through here and make sure that I've chosen the right settings. They're probably already set to what I want because I already tried one before I recorded the video. But general settings just have to do with that welcome screen, some general settings for the program. They're fairly important though because they do define where your files go. And you could change this so they go right to your desktop or something. It depends on where you want them to go. I'm going to leave them in my documents for now. I don't mind that they go in there. It caches everything I do in an Adobe Captivate folder, and it also publishes everything I do if I go to publish in a Captivate folder. And the cache is nice because if I ever lose something or I've lost files and I don't have anything, I can go back there and probably republish from the files that I have in the cache. So what Adobe Captivate does is it records your actions on the screen. And the example that I'm doing now, because you probably noticed on the welcome screen, you can also do like a PowerPoint presentation with voiceover. You can do a slideshow. We're just recording an application right now, or the entire screen. I chose to do the application. And as I do that, it's going to record what I'm doing inside of the application and pick up mouse movements and stuff like that. So here, defaults, you can set the time for your slide. It actually breaks up your videos into slides, slide by slide. You can see there's caption settings. Okay, and you can change the settings on that. There's going to be an entire different video on that and how these captions come up, and you haven't even really seen what these captions look like yet anyway, so we're just going to go past this. I just wanted to show you it was in here. This is fairly important in here, okay? In here you can go into the full motion settings, which you can also get to right from here, and you can see that you can manually ramp this all the way up to the top, and the further up you put it, the larger the video size is going to be. So if you want the best quality, you just go all the way to the top, and then you don't get any kind of robotic movements where it's sort of choppy. It just makes it really smooth. Now I know I'm just doing an application. I don't want some big huge file built inside of this file, so I'm just gonna, well, it just be part of the recording. But anyway, I'm just gonna keep it down on the application. Back to the settings here. I've taken a look at that. It talks about whether or not keystrokes actually operate things, if my narration's on. I once did an entire video with the narration turned off because the one I did before, it was turned off and I forgot to look. And it was like a perfect video, and then I went and listened to it, and I'm like, oh man, I have no sound, and I was just really upset. So make sure you have that on. And just to make sure your narration is going to sound good, the first time you've plugged in a new mic in this computer or whatever you're using in Captivate, you're going to want to go to audio settings and make sure the stuff's okay. And this doesn't take long. Make sure the right mic is picked. I would leave this at near CD if you're just doing audio. You don't need it to be like perfect sounding. You can go up that way if you need it to be really good, but I would just leave it set there. If you need it even smaller, you can go down to here, or higher, you can go there. Let's go to calibrate the input. Now the last time I recorded, I had the preamp set to 4. I think most of the time when you install, it'll be set to like 0.1 or 2. I was using a quiet microphone, so I'm going to record something really quick on this mic and see what it sounds like. So checking, 1, 2, 3, check, 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 check. You see where it got into the red there? When it gets into the red, it's a problem. Okay, that's called clipping. You pretty much want it to be a little higher than the halfway. It's okay to get into the yellow a bit, but you don't want it getting near the red. So if you're getting near there, just take your preamp and turn it down a little bit. I'm going to go down a few notches to 1 and check 1, 2, check 1, 2, check 1, 2. That looks perfect. I'm not even going to listen to it to playback. It's getting into the yellow, but it wasn't going near the red. So I'm going to okay that. Okay, you can also auto calibrate, which usually works no problem at all. It'll set it up for you without an issue. So this is very user friendly. Not something you're going to have to do every time, but on your computer, when you first set up a mic and you want to make sure the mic level going into Captivate is working, even if it was working going into another program, it might be different going into Captivate. So you want to set that up and check it out. If it's really, really loud, you can start going into decimals like 0.1 up through 0.9. I'm going to leave mine set at 1 because that's what we figured would work. And we're going to click OK, and we're going to click OK, and we're almost ready to go here. Now, at this point, I would have already been done with the video because I've done it a few times, but I just want to make sure you guys understand what's in here and some of the settings we're going to get into in later videos. So there are keyboard shortcuts that really help you out when you're recording, because it means you don't have to go find the program again when you want to stop or pause. So most laptops, and they're not that easy to find, and I know mine has one because I can't change this key. I can't click here and change the way this function key works, so I must have a pause key somewhere, and I do. I have one of the ThinkPads, and it's down in the lower right corner. There's actually multimedia keys there. Most laptops will have multimedia keys somewhere on the keyboard, and they're usually over the arrow keys. That's where I have mine. But you want to kind of look around for those. If it's coming up here, it means you have one. But you want to pay attention to these, because it's nice to know your 2 start and stop keys. And it's also nice to know your pause key. Okay, so if you can find it, that helps too, because if you stumble on something and you need to stop and then start again without having to redo the entire video, it's really nice to know where this pause key is. Okay, so mine is the down arrow key. It's in the very bottom lower right of my keyboard on my ThinkPad. Yours might be in a different place, but if it comes up pause, you have one. If it comes up some function key, then you use the function key, and you can probably change it. Like I could change these. No, actually, they don't let you change them, so I thought I could change. I've never bothered to try because I don't really need to. I just try and remember what they are. So I have a pretty good handle on these because I've done it a few times. I have, obviously these 2 and this one memorized, but I'm not going to be using those once I start recording in this video, because if I use them, the other recording software program that I'm using to record this responds to similar keys. So I'm going to show you another easy way to stop it once you start recording too. So you'll kind of get a handle on all of them. Using the keys is a great way. You won't hear or see me do that, but this is a great way to do it. You'll see me do it a different way when I stop recording, and just makes it even easier. Here in the mode, I'm doing a straight up software demo. If we go to training simulation, you can add a lot more to the actual recording once it's produced. But we're going to stick to the basics here. We're not going to get into that till a later video. Defaults. This has to do with these boxes. You can actually change the way they look. We're not going to get into this too much either. I'm going to have a whole video just on that, but just to give you a quick, like if we go success, green, I see. So it's all about money then. Failure. I don't know about that one either. When I stop at a red light, I consider myself succeeding, It's a big step for me to stop at a red light. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just going to stick with the default. Nice fidelity blue. It looks nice and friendly. And I've just kind of reviewed these. I haven't changed much stuff. I just wanted you guys to understand what was in here. The main thing you want to go into each time, especially if you're switching mics, is just check the settings on that mic. Make sure it's not coming in like super hot or super quiet. If you've done it on the same computer with the same mic, should be fine. You should be able to just go and record. Make sure your narration is checked. Okay. So I'm going to click OK. I'm going to bounce back out to that main record area. I had set this for a custom size, not application. I want to make sure I don't miss the application. I'm just going to set, and I'm going to be moving around while I'm doing this. So I'm just going to set it to full screen. I don't want to mess around with the screen size and where I'm recording because I don't want to have to read. This is a longer video, so I want to make sure everything's included here. So I'm going to record full screen, and as soon as I hit record, we are rolling. Just like Hollywood, people, this is the real deal now. We get a little countdown, and I'm going to jump in here and do a quick demo for you. So inside of PowerPoint, I want to show somebody how to add a comment, something really simple here, okay? So around this area, maybe in here, I'm going to add a comment. Click in there. If you go to Review, you're going to find the new comment button. I always liked Office 2007, the way these tabs worked. I thought it was very user-friendly. As I move my mouse around, now that I'm in Captivate, it's recording these actions, and when I go up here and click the comment box, when the video's done, it will tell the user prior to my going up there what I'm about to do in their little captions. It's really cool. So I'm gonna just say in here, this is a sample comment, and then everybody loves to enter in comments, but they're text boxes, so entering pretty much just enters another line. It does a hard break, so we're just going to click out of the comment box. That's the proper way to enter it, and I've just done a very, very simple demo, okay? And you will see my actions within the Captivate video once it's produced. So if I don't want to hit the pause key and mess up my other video that's already in process, easiest way to stop Captivate if you forget the function keys or you forget where your pause button is, just go right to it and just click on it, okay? Clicking on the icon in your quick launch bar there, in your quick launch area, and that's where it will always go there once you start recording. Clicking on that icon will enable you to stop it without having to use the shortcut keys. And then if I bounce back into Captivate, it's already put the slides in. I didn't even get to see them populate because they're already in. So this goes slide by slide, okay? And if you want to see what I've done in each slide, why is my timeline not up? I must have taken that off last night. The timeline should automatically default to come up. Captivate's a bit weird. You can't actually preview the entire video once it goes in into the film strip and you have the timeline up. You just preview it slide by slide. So don't mess around with these sliders too much because then it actually makes that slide longer. Just if I want to just watch this slide, just hit play and you'll be able to hear what I did in there and watch. See this? See this little tab? That's the preceding instructions that are built into the video now that I just recorded that tell the student or the user or whoever's watching this where I'm about to go. So I hit play. See that? So see how that came up before I went there? And then it follows my mouse through it. It's really neat. It's very powerful the way it does it. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time in here. I am going to show you quickly if you wanted to review the entire video, which in that case I would just go ahead and publish it. You can actually go to where the heck was this? I just did this before I came in here. There's a review tool, not in window. Video management. You know what? I'm not even going to waste time on that in this video. I'll put it in another video. It'll probably be in the next one, actually, because a couple people have already asked me about this. How come they can only view one slide at a time? And if you want to view another slide, you just click on the other slide and see how they come up there. But the timeline will only show one slide at a time. It'll only play one slide at a time. There's not really much you can do about that other than it previewing the entire video at once. But when you go to preview it, it does actually have to kind of compress it first, so it does take a bit of time. So sometimes it's good just to check out the slides, and if you check out the slides while you're doing it, you can kind of see if you really blew it anywhere or not. You can pull individual slides in and out. This is all going to be coming in a separate video. What I'm going to do now is just publish what I did. I know I didn't screw it up. It was a very simple one. I'm just going to go ahead and publish it, and in the next video I'll show you how you can review the entire video at once. So to publish, you go here and you go to publish. I wouldn't mess around with publish settings. They're probably fine the way they are. Just go into publish. We're not going to get into the various tabs where you can do lots of different versions of publishing. If you are going to publish online and you're going to be putting it into an online player, you probably want to go direct to media. And FV4 is actually the only one I've found that'll work with YouTube. Other recording programs are a little more user-friendly with their output video types, but this one, it's not quite as it doesn't have a million different versions of output, but all of us got the you know, we have a rollout with the Adobe Suite, and all of us will get the Adobe Media Encoder with it. I believe the Adobe Media Encoder comes with Captivate too, and you can change it then to any video type you want. It's just you lose a lot of quality when you do that. So I'm going to show you in these series of videos how to maintain the most quality even if you're going to YouTube. For right now, I'm just thinking, you know, I just want a version of this that I can post on FOL. It's not too massive. I could send it to somebody. I could send it to a student. Not via email maybe, but you put it up on FOL, you put it in a share space somewhere, you play it in a meeting. That's the format that I'm going to make that'll be the most compatible. So we're not going to use media. We're not going to connect to an Acrobat server. We don't really have one of those. I was trying to play with it yesterday, but we're not going to go there, okay? We're going to go here, and we're going to create, based from a Flash demo, we're going to create the video. So it takes all these slides, which are individual pieces of production in here right now, and we can move them around and change the order. We can add captions to them, and we can add text and do all kinds of crazy stuff, all coming in further videos, okay? But right now we're just going to produce what we did. So let's do it. We're going to call it PowerPoint comments. Okay, that's what we learned how to do in it, right? And down here, I'm going to make sure that I go and remember to check export to PDF. It will actually export it to PDF. And anybody with a version of Adobe Reader 9 or higher can just open it up and it'll just play video, full video and audio inside of a PDF. Very cool. And if they don't have Adobe 9 or higher, guess what? They can download it for free. So this is an easy way to make this work. And if you have server space, you want to put it inside of FOL or something like that, those have Adobe Reader built into the browser, so it should be able to play right inside of there. Okay, and these are all going to be supplemental instructions to this first initial, just how to crank out a quick video. So for right now, we're making this PDF. We're going to click Publish. Now, as part of the SWF Flash file, it will publish numerous files in a folder with it, and they kind of all have to be together for it to play. But you see, it even tells you here, to view generated PDF, make sure the person has Adobe Reader 9 or higher. Okay, no problem. Yes, let's check out the output file. So here we go. We're going to watch what I did here. Okay. I just want to make sure my audio is coming through, so I'm going to unplug my headphones because I know I don't have it too loud. Okay. Now we get a little countdown, and I'm going to jump in here and do a quick demo for you. So inside of PowerPoint, I want to show somebody how to add a comment, something really simple here. Okay. See that? So around this area. So right before I went there and selected the slide there, it told the user I was going to go there. Right before I go up to the review tab, it's going to tell the user that I'm about to go to the review tab. Okay, now because I didn't change my resolution, see how big this is? I'm actually having to scroll around to get to the player down here. It does help to make your resolution a bit smaller, and we're going to deal with that in another video that would be pretty close to this one. As you can tell, there's going to be lots of movies just for Captivate, but right here I just wanted to show you guys how powerful this is and what it can do. So see that? That was just one more example of how powerful it is. So again, right before I went there, it told the person I was going there. I really like the interactivity it adds. There's a million screen capture recording programs out there. Very few of them do this so easily. And I mean, even right from the get-go, I didn't change any settings. I didn't do anything. I just made sure my mic was coming through and I hit record. And I actually didn't even know that those were going to be there because I was just testing it out. And then I was like, wow, that's pretty sweet because I'm showing my students in Dreamweaver, here's where you have to go in this menu you've never been into. They haven't used Dreamweaver much, right? It's not like a PowerPoint course where it's kind of just review, and they've probably done most of this stuff in other Microsoft applications. So those caption boxes really help. Now the PDF version of this file, this opened up the web version. So this is a web version of it that I could upload to a server. Again, it's probably going to be easier, and you could put this in FOL too. You could start building these into FOL, and Lisa will show you how you can very easily put HTML files in there. But it's probably going to be easier if you're going to make a lot of these to start putting them on YouTube, and that will come in a later video. And also, if you're going to move a lot of them around, to make them PDFs by checking that one little box I checked. So that all went into a folder in my documents, my Captivate projects, my cache. So the cache folder is where it saves stuff in case I lose all my work or something, right, in here. My Captivate projects is where it produces stuff that I've made. So you can see there's additional files in here on this PowerPoint comments thing. that are associated with the web version and stuff. But this, I could cut it right out of the folder. Like, I'm going to cut it right out. So you see it's standalone. I'm going to put it on my desktop. Standalone file here. This is a PDF file. And this was Lisa that caught on to this, that really thought, well, that's an easier way to kind of move them around. So I'm recommending this as one of the initial ways to start cranking out the videos. PDF file. Here we go. Opening it up. I haven't opened Reader again on my computer today either, so it's taking a second to open. But once it does, so you can see, I mean, for the sake of timing here, I'm not going to play the whole thing, but you can see it plays in Adobe Reader. Well, I have Acrobat Pro, but if I had Reader 9 or higher, it would have just played in it, just like a media player would play the video. And who doesn't have Adobe Reader, right? And if they don't have the higher version, they can download it. Now, YouTube is still one of the most accessible ways to record, and it's not like we're only going to be using this to record video shorts. We can use it for quizzes and having interactivity built into videos and stuff like that, but I'm trying to start with the most basic stuff here. So as I will at the end of every video in here, I'm just going to jump back in here. Let me get rid of my comment. Just going to jump back in here and talk about what we just did, and then we'll be on to the next set of videos, which will have duration size small, and then there'll maybe be a couple mediums in there. So we haven't used Captivate before. Now we at least saw how to open it, how to deal with that little message about being an administrator. We did a simple screen capture software video with captions. We recorded it, stopped it, produced it, watched it all within this video. And this I would still consider all level beginner. I know I threw a lot at you, but you have to remember, and I always like to summarize with this, what you just watched, if you watched it all the way through without pausing, you're just not helping yourself that much, because if you're trying to do this with me, watch me when I do it, pause it, try and do it yourself, play, pause, play. I'm going to have all these posted in YouTube for you, as you obviously know now because you're watching it on YouTube. So do that to help yourself, and most of them will be much shorter. And this demo included getting it open, calibrating the mic, checking out those options for the captions. We didn't really mess with them too much, and ensuring that if we were going to do full video, we had that checked. Just playing with the settings a bit, and we'll get into them more and more specifically in further videos. And remember, wear headphones so noises like I just made don't come blaring out and go into the mic. And of course, always eat your Wheaties, because we got some recording to do, and we don't want to sound tired and all, run down and stuff. We want to sound pumped up and ready and energetic. So thanks for participating in our first installation of the Adobe Captivate video series, and we'll see you in the next one.